In Chandogya Upanishad is the line Gayantam Trayate Itti Gayatri, which indicates that the goddess Gayatri protects the person who recites this mantra. Gayatrimantra was born as the result of the intense spiritual practice of a sage called Rishi Vishwamitra. Gayatrimantra can be found in its original form in that most ancient of texts, the Rig Veda, which is written in the ancient sacred language of Sanskrit. Rig Veda is a vast text consisting of over 1,000 hymns containing 10,000 verses. Often called the mother of all language, Sanskrit is a phonetic language with each letter or matrika being treated as a mantra. The word matrika means little mother, and this is an acknowledgement of the generative power of each specific sound, each being a specific seed of Shakti or divine feminine energy. Sanskrit mantras are the great yogic technology for the unfolding of higher powers of both our own inner awareness and the vast universe of consciousness. It is therefore imperative that these sounds are produced accurately. Failure to do this can produce entirely different meanings to words. Gayatri mantra is recorded in the Veda as it was originally perceived by Vishwamitra. It begins with the words Tat Savitur Varenyam. The mantra is named after its source of inspiration, the Devi Gayatri, or the goddess Gayatri. Gayatri is also the name given to the chandas, or rhythm of this mantra. Gayatri Devi is the aspect of universal consciousness that manifests and sustains the specific vibration that defines this sacred rhythm. Gayatri Chandas consists of 3 lines, with each line consisting of 8 beats. However, if we count the beats in the first line, it can be seen that there are only 7 beats. Tat Savitur Varen Yam. The second line, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, has 8 beats, and the final line, Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat, also has 8 beats. The missing beat on the first line is sometimes mistakenly inserted at the end of Gayatri by doubling the last vowel sound in the word Prachodayat, as in Prachodayat. But this rendition does not accord with the Gayatri Chandas of 8 beats per line. Sri Satya Sai Baba used to chant Gayatri by doubling the final consonant of the first line in the word Varenyam, and he would chant it Varenyam. And this rendition creates an aesthetically pleasing resolution to the chandas. But the most usual solution for the 8th beat on this line is by repeating the vowel A, transcribed here with the English alphabet letter E shown in red, as in Tat Savitur Varenyam. This correctly reproduces Gayatri Chandas of 3 lines, each of 8 beats. Gayatri mantra was also later recorded in the Yajurveda, where it is preceded by the Pranava mantra Om. The Pranava mantra is the most important mantra in Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is probably most easily described as the eternal practice of personal alignment with ultimate truth. In Yajurveda, the Pranava mantra is followed by 3 Vyahriti mantras, bhur, bhuva, and swa. In the language of Sanskrit, the vowels are described as the thread upon which the consonants are strung, like phonetic gems on a vibrating string. Sanskrit vowels are either short or long, and their length is measured in short units of time, called matras. Matra means a duration of time. Short vowels are sounded for one matra, or for one beat, and the long vowels are held for 2 matras, or twice as long. Holding a vowel for the correct length of time is important, as failing to do so can often alter word meanings. Long vowels are translated into European script using a horizontal diacritical mark above the letter, shown here in red. There also exists a group of vowels called compound vowels. Compound vowels include the sounds a, I, o, and ow. These vowels are also held for 2 matras, or 2 beats. 2 of these vowels appear in this mantra. They are a and o, shown here in red. When we regard all the vowels to be held for 2 matras, marked in red, we can have a sense of the timing we can employ throughout this mantra. Now to examine the consonants. Notice that some consonants are conjoined with the letter H. The letters shown in red are the aspirated consonants ba and da. These paired transliterated letters represent a singular Devanagari letter. Sanskrit possesses 10 different aspirated consonants. These are distinctly different from their unaspirated counterparts. If, for example, we examine the consonant ba written in Devanagari script, we can see that it differs distinctly from the written consonant ba. The importance given to the creation of these aspirated sounds can be gauged by the name given for these letters. They are called Mahaprana. Mahaprana translates as great breath, and this is an indication of how these consonants should be enunciated. Another group of Sanskrit consonants appearing in this mantra are called Antasta, meaning sonorant, and the sonorant consonants are represented by the letter Va. This letter is used for 2 different sounds in Sanskrit, Va and Wa. It is usually pronounced as Va, but when immediately preceded by a consonant, it is pronounced as Wa. Va is used 5 times in this mantra, but it is only sounded as Wa where it is preceded by a consonant, as in the word swa. Next we come to a group of consonants called dantya, which means dental. To correctly produce these consonants, the tongue must make contact with the backs of the upper row of front teeth. Although these letters are transliterated by using plain alphabet letters, there is really no equivalent sound in the English language. The only occasion where the tongue approaches the teeth in English is to produce voiced fricative sounds, as in the sound the. It can be difficult for native speakers of European languages to hear the difference between dental and non-dental consonants. And because dantya consonants are transcribed without diacritical marks, speakers of European languages mistakenly assume that they are produced as they would be in their own native tongues. Sanskrit possesses 5 different dental consonants, and these are amongst the most commonly used consonants in Sanskrit. Once again, failure to differentiate between these specific sounds can totally change the meaning of a word. Producing these sounds correctly serves the dual function of projecting the correct audible quality of vibration and also generating a specific energy circuit within the body of the practitioner. When the Dantya consonants are coloured red, it can be seen that this particular energy circuit is activated many times in this mantra. To attempt this mantra using the English pronunciation of these consonants will not produce the correct set of vibrations. However, correct use of dental consonants while chanting can greatly enhance and improve enunciation of spoken English. Quite a different energy circuit is produced from the Murdanya consonant. These are cerebral or retroflex consonants, represented here in the consonant na. This consonant is produced when the tongue is placed against the roof of the mouth and bent slightly back. The circuit produced and the effect created by cerebral consonants will be familiar to practitioners of certain tantrika yoga practices. One last vowel to be examined here is an important vowel called visarga, which appears at the end of a word, including the word visarga. It is transliterated using the letter H with a diacritical mark below it. In isolation, it is pronounced as ah. This vowel, ah, is different from the consonant ha. Pronunciation of visarga differs depending upon where it is placed. In the middle of a sentence or line, its sound is that of an aspiration at the end of a word. At the end of a sentence or line, the aspirated visarga is followed by an echo of the vowel that precedes it. This echo is sustained for half the length of the preceding vowel. This is not as complicated as it sounds. To demonstrate this, the gayatrimantra, bhuva and swa, end with the aspirated sound, ah. Now, chanting of this mantra is usually concluded by chanting the word shanti 3 times. Shanti means peace. The last letter of the word shanti is a visarga, so the last shanti on the line is pronounced shantihi, echoing the vowel before the visarga. Hence the familiar Om Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. 1/3 of the sensory motor cortex of our brain is devoted to the tongue, oral cavity, and lips. Therefore, oral frequency emissions, whether spoken, chanted, or sung, exert a powerful control over our lives, influencing mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Chanting Gayatri mantra in the correct manner stimulates the tongue and oral cavity in a specific pattern. Om Bhur Bhuva Swa Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sanskrit is the sacred language of Sanatana Dharma. Gayatri is the principal mantra of Sanatana Dharma, and the Vedas preserve its original pronunciation by a consistent set of rules, annotations, and style of chanting. Understanding and adhering to these rules and chanting the mantras in the correct manner ensures that the correct sound vibrations are produced, ensures that the chanter receives the intended neurological benefits from the generation of internal energy waves and the stimulation of neural centers. It also enables vibrational alignment with the existing phonetic architecture that has been created by the regular chanting of this mantra by millions of voices for many, many thousands of years.